All right. See you next time.
Okay, so for the our members of the public that's online, my apologies. Our earlier Financing Authority meeting ran long. So we will start the January 2025 ACWD board meeting at 6:45. Thank you very much for your patience, and we will be back at 6:45.
Okay, I have 6:45.
Okay. Is 6:45. Thank you for our members of the public that held on to 6:45. That starts the regular January Alameda County Water District Board meeting. Before we start, General Manager Stevenson, would you like to make some housekeeping remarks?
Sure. We can do roll call in just a moment, but I just wanted to welcome everybody. On behalf of the ACWD Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome the public's participation in this board meeting. My name is Ed Stevenson, and I serve as the district's general manager. Members of the public may participate in this board meeting in person or remotely by either using the Zoom application or by telephone. Any member of the public present in person who wishes to make comments may approach the speaker's podium at the appropriate time. For those participating remotely, note that the meeting agenda, staff reports, and presentation materials for this meeting are all available on the district's website at acwd.org. You may reference the instructions at the top of the agenda for how to participate using the controls in the Zoom app or your dial pad if participating by telephone audio. This board meeting is being recorded and will be made available for public future viewing. Again, thank you all for attending, and President Huang. First, second meeting this year. That completes my housekeeping remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari.
Here.
Gunther.
Here.
Sethy.
Here.
Weed.
Here.
And Huang.
Here. Next is salute to the flag. I am going to apologize ahead because I know I'm going to butcher your last name, but Mr. Bialik, would you be willing to lead us in the salute to the flag?
Sure.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, next item is public comment. Members of the public may address the board on any issues not listed on the agenda which are within the purview of the Alameda County Water District. A 5-minute limit is customary. However, I may adjust the actual time allowed to accommodate number of speakers. Member of the public who wish to address the board on a scheduled agenda item will be given the opportunity to do so. So with that, I know Mr. Abreu in here in the boardroom wish to address the board.
Just was looking at since everybody here is deeply into history, so I'll start with do a long story starting with the history. So around 60 years ago, they built this, 50 or 60 years ago, they built the South Bay Aqueduct, and then it serves 3 water districts, and they each would pay for the cost of this thing according to their Table A allocation. So, and as we just heard with all these bond things or whatever, sometimes, and so they had all these legal agreements, all documented, signed, filled out, and based on this Table A allocation. And sometimes, these plans and legal agreements, they're rendered obsolete by the passage of by events. And so what events? So I'm wondering if this agreement is should be questioned. I'm going to question it. So here's the question: if everybody was paying their costs and getting the water according to their appointed and anointed official share, then there wouldn't be a question. But the question is, how come two of the districts, including this one, they're getting like a certain fraction of their water over the last 10 years. And they, by the way, they issue reports only every 3-4 years with the actual totals of the state water project deliveries broken down by each contractor receiving the water. So these are actuals. This is not the planned deliveries. This is the actual deliveries from 2011 to 2020. So it's a 10-year average. And during that 10 years, this district was getting, I don't know, 60% of their Table A allocation. And the other district that that next door, the Zone 7, they got about the same amount, maybe a little less, but whatever. And then the other district, the one who had their dam collapse or get emptied, and the one who all ran into unexpected problems and had to scramble to make adjustments for all their problems with storage facilities or whatever their problems are. That one is getting like 1.5 times more than your share. And you go, if you look at all the state water project contractor receiving the water, usually they're all good, they all kind of hang with their, after 10 years, they all kind of get roughly what they were supposed to be getting according to their Table A allocation or whatever, everybody's getting about an equal share of the slice of the pie. But this group, this utility down there, they're getting a lot more. So, but that's fine. Maybe they need it. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just asking, so how come they pay, I'm sure they're only paying for the South Bay Aqueduct capital costs and operating costs and all that. They're probably, especially on the capital costs, I'm sure they're only paying according to their Table A allocation. So question becomes, well, why don't they pay their share according to the water they got, not the water they were scheduled to get? Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Abreu. Any other question, public comments? How about online? If you wish to address the board, please raise your hand. Seeing none under public comments, let's move on to consent calendar. Do I have a motion from the board to add or remove any item on the consent calendar?
Make the motion to add items 5.1 through 5.4 to the consent calendar.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar as amended?
Moved. Second.
Moved by Director Sethy, second by Director Gunther.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. Moving on, item 5.5.
Well, item 5.5 is one of those bittersweet items that we actually not super great fans of in terms of seeing good people move on, but we are very happy for Yanush, and we're super grateful for what he's done for this organization. I just want to point out that Yanush is here in the audience with his family, and it's super nice to have you all here. Yanush, just so you know, there's going to be an opportunity for you to make any remarks that you would like. So feel free to make your way down here in a moment. But I just wanted to note how important Yanush has been for this organization, for his team. He's got quite the career background. Water is not his first career, but we're glad it's his last career and hopefully his best career. And we're super happy to have Yanush celebrating his retirement here this evening. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to Mr. Stevenson to address this item.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Good evening, board and fellow staff members and members of the public. So Yanush Bialik retired from the district on December 21st, 2024 as a utility mechanic 2 after more than 21 years of service with the district. Yanush started with the district on December 8th, 2003 as a utility worker 1. In recognition of his aptitude and skill set, Yanush was promoted to utility worker 2 on December 18th, 2006, where he further developed expertise with distribution system maintenance and equipment operation. Yanush later promoted to utility worker 3 on December 26th, 2011. Janusz performed well as utility worker 3, which included spending many nights and weekends responding to after-hours customer service calls and the standby duty person rotation. Janusz's distribution system knowledge, as well as his customer service skills, were beneficial to the district when assisting customers with emergency water issues. Looking for a new career path, Janusz applied for and was selected for promotion to Utility Mechanic 1 in the Facilities Maintenance Division on January 7th, 2013. He became a valuable addition to the Facilities Maintenance Group by utilizing his knowledge of the distribution system and leveraging his mechanical skills. He played an integral part in the development of the district's preventative maintenance program for water treatment, distribution, and production equipment. He also played a key role in the continuous monitoring and updating of the PM program to optimize equipment uptime. On April 28, 2015, he was promoted to Utility Mechanic 2 and continued his role of providing excellent customer service, and he even took on the role of mentoring new equipment mechanics at that time. Over the course of his career at the district, Janusz has demonstrated a strong work ethic and provided excellent customer service. He is appreciated for over 21 years of dedication for consistently providing a high level of service to the district's external and internal customers. Janusz will be missed by his many friends and coworkers at the district. And before I read the recommendation, as Ed alluded to, Janusz had an sort of an unconventional career path before he came to the district. So in his native Poland, he was a police officer. When he came to the United States, he was a construction worker, and you'll have to correct me if I get any of this wrong. Then he went to the Culinary Academy and became a chef. Then he worked at San Quentin Prison, and then he came to work for the Water District. So since all those things are so closely related, you know, but I really appreciate all of Janusz's contributions, and we're sorry to see him go. And with that, I will read the recommendation. So by motion, adopt a resolution honoring Janusz Bialik and expressing appreciation for his more than 21 years of service.
Thank you. Questions, comments from the board?
I'll comment. You know, it's always tough when people like yourself retire from us, but I hate to see it happen. However, I'm happy to see it happen. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. This is your time now. You've done it. Thank you so much for your service. We greatly appreciate it. Working nights, weekends, it's not fun. You deserve this. Enjoy it. Thank you for what you've given us. Hopefully we were worth it. So wishing you all the best of luck. You were certainly worth it for us.
Director Sethy?
Yes, Janice, congratulations. I wish you well in the future. And I have a suggestion for our staff to consider, which is like other high-tech companies around us that have in-house culinary staff. Maybe we could set up something in the cafeteria.
What do you think about yet another
to
career,
for
Janusz?
those special meals that you like to prepare. And hopefully you are involved in some interesting, engaging endeavor moving forward. Thank you.
Director Ween?
Yes. Thank you for your long service to the district. We fail to at times to recognize the extraordinary service and the extra hours that people put in. And it's a shame to lose the unique bilingual capabilities that you brought to this district, which may never have been actually implemented with our customer base. But I wish you well, and thank you so much for your service.
Hey, we do have Dorota on staff.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Director Akbari?
Well, Janusz, congratulations on your retirement and on quite a career. I mean, that I don't think I've heard of a career progression like that. That is awesome. First of all, I also want to congratulate your family because I know the work that you did took you away, I'm sure, on nights and weekends and holidays, and that's not possible without having family there to help you with that and to be supportive. So thank you for allowing us to take Janusz when we needed. And thank you for being that line of defense with customers. When customers needed you, you were our face of ACWD to help them with major issues. And when customers didn't have an issue, is because you worked on preventative care, and that's sometimes the behind the scenes work gets less recognition, but it's just as important. So very much appreciate the work that you've done here at the district. And I always have a question that I ask outgoing employees. So when you do have a chance to come up and make some comments, if you can tell us what you're most excited about in retirement with your next chapter, I'll be really excited to hear about that. So thank you again.
So Janusz, we chatted a little bit. I first want to echo what Director Akbari says. It really takes the entire family's dedication in order to achieve this type of commitment to our customers, to provide this high level of service. So the thank you is to both you and your family. Because when you have to come out in the middle of the night to help our customers, somebody at home have to keep things going. So thank you. And thank you for spending time mentoring our new and younger staff to ensure that there's continuity, to ensure this district has the ability to provide high quality service to our customers. Director Akbari is correct. The funniest thing is when you're doing your job really well is when we do not hear from anybody. Nobody will come by and say thank you, precisely because you do your job so well that nobody has any complaints. Your effort is definitely very, very appreciated. And I really, truly now feel really bad that I did not have a chance to actually sit down and have a good chat with you about your life experience and your career path. I am sure there are many, many stories that I would really enjoy to have that discussion with you. So please come back for the holiday party so we could kind of pick your brain and have a good chat and I could learn a little bit more about what you have experienced. So truly appreciate it. And how we're going to do this is I am going to open it up for public comment and then we'll adopt a resolution and then we'll have Janusz come up to make his comment. How's that? All right, so do I have any members of the public, either in the audience or online, that wish to make a comment on this item? I am not seeing any hands, so with that, I am going to ask for a motion from the board.
I'll make the motion to adopt staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. With that, Janusz, would you like to address the board, make a comment?
Thank you very much. Say sorry because my language is not that good. Speaking maybe a little mistakes, but I was very like it's very hard for me because it's- like I was joking with my wife when I was coming to the United States. She called me on January 30th. Oh, you have a flight on February 8th to come to the United States. So I had 8 days to close my life in Poland and come here. And here is, I was waiting for this long time and it's harder for me to adjust to this role than it was adjust from coming from one country to another, changing the whole life. So, and it was a privilege to working here with, I think for me, I work in a couple of different places and I think this was the place I would miss most. People, I made friends for 20 years. A lot of them, they already retired before me, but still working, and those are the greatest people to work with. I'm very happy I was working here.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. And you know you'll always be part of the ACWD extended family.
Hey, Nish, got time for a photo?
Photo? There's a plaque.
Yeah. I'll go first. 3, 2. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks so much for coming. Congratulations.
I decided to stop wearing it. It feels uncomfortable. Doctor said I feel better. Too bad it's not Halloween though.
All right. Let's move on to item 5.6, please.
Okay, item 5.6 is resolution accepting completion of the Alameda Reservoir Roof Replacement Project. And for this item, I'll ask our Director of Engineering and Technology, Mr. Awoke, to address it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stevenson, and good evening, board members, staff, and community members online. Yes, we're celebrating another milestone, though not a retirement this time. We are celebrating the completion of a capital improvement project. With this item, as I said, we celebrate the completion of the Alameda Reservoir Roof Replacement Project and ask the board to formally accept the project. By way of background, if you recall, on March 9, 2023, the board awarded a construction contract to Thompson Builders in the amount of $17,650,150. At that time, the board also authorized the general manager to execute change orders up to a contingency amount equal to 7% of the contract, which equates to about $1.2 million. The Alameda Reservoir was originally constructed in the 1970s, and it has a capacity of 16.25 million gallons of water. The work covered in this contract included replacing more than the 50-year-old roof, as well as structural components and wood framing, while ensuring that the structure can withstand earthquake impacts by strengthening the supporting columns. The work also included adding interior lighting and ventilation and associated power and control systems. This project was substantially completed in October 2024, with remaining items fully completed by the end of 2024. Now, during construction, the project faced some challenges, as you might expect with construction activities at times. Those included structural and architectural design changes to avoid some conflicts, modifications to address unforeseen issues discovered during construction, and additional full-depth asphalt paving around the access road, and some additional electrical repairs. All these changes contributed to an increase in the contract value of about 6.7%, which is within the board-approved GM authority. These changes also resulted in some delays, which pushed the original completion date to about 62 days. Now, with this project completed, the district can now reliably store and supply water to customers in the southern segment of Pressure Zone 1, which is the lowest hydraulic zone for the district, but also the most populated pressure zone. With that, I will read the summary and staff recommendations and answer any questions you might have. The board previously awarded the construction contract for the Alameda Reservoir Replacement Project to Thompson Builders Corporation. The project includes structural, electrical, architectural, and mechanical improvements to the Alameda Reservoir in Fremont. The project is now complete, and the reservoir has been returned to service. Completion of this project helps meet the district's strategic plan goal 1.1, which is efficiently manage and maintain our infrastructure to ensure reliability. Staff's recommendation is by motion, adopt a resolution accepting completion of the Alameda Reservoir Roof Replacement Project, job number 21292. Thank you.
Questions or comments from the board?
I have one comment.
Director Sethy?
I have abstained in the past from voting on issues related to Alameda Reservoir because of proximity to the site. Although I'm very happy about the completion and took a tour of the reservoir last fall, I'm going to abstain from voting on this item.
Okay, so if you would indulge me, just for the record, Director Sethy does not have an actual conflict, but he's abstaining out of abundance of caution, correct?
I think that's what I heard.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
yeah, it's not only the completion of the project, but I abstain from all the previous
Right.
Issuances of money, and the completion entails the final phase of funding.
Thank you, Director Sethy. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I'd like to thank staff. Job well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Another one down.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments from the board? If not, I'm going to open up to our members of the public online. Do we have any questions or comments from our online customers, audience? Seeing no hands, do we have a motion?
I'll move staff recommendation.
Moved by Director Gunther, second by Director Akbari. Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther,
Aye.
Sethy,
Abstain.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mo- Thank you. Moving on to item 6.1, board committee reports. Do I have any questions or comments from the board on any of the committee reports? Hearing none, are there any questions or comments from our audience online? If so, please raise your hand. I see there's a hand. Mr. Nishimura.
Actually, President Huang, I may have made a mistake. You are only talking about the board committee reports and not the operational reports. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I jumped the gun.
All right, I get the sense you have questions or comments for the board in item 6.2, so hold that thought. Let's move on to item 6.2, operational reports. Any questions or comments from the board on any of the operational reports?
Make a quick comment. I note that the water hardness in Newark is remarkably low compared to the rest of the district.
Thank you, DSAL.
Rakesh Desal, and seems almost in the 60s, seems remarkably competitive with the Bay Area. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Weed. I was going to say, my poor little area is left out. I was just outside that really salt water zone. Anyway, so I assume, Mr. Nishimura, you have a question or comment for the board on item 6.2?
Well, I think Director Weed has basically beat me to the punch, right? The map shows considerably, lower hardness in the Newark area. Again, kudos to the desal, and higher than desirable hardness, especially up in Union City, right? It's exceeding 150. So again, and I attribute this to the bringing the PFAS plant, treatment plant online and the impact to the blending ratio. But again, whatever we can do to keep the hardness down. One thing that may or may not have crossed people's news wires is the government is clamping down on efficiency standards for water heaters, domestic water heaters. There are multiple technologies that are available for water heating, one of which is the instant heater or the on-demand water heaters. Those units, while they can be quite efficient, because you're not dissipating heat while in the process of storing large amounts of hot water tend to be quite sensitive to water hardness. And the reliability of those units is impacted by adverse hardness in the feed water. So, looking forward, in the next decade or so, as higher energy efficiency standards are brought into play and more customers may opt to go to the tankless or the instant water heaters, they may become more sensitive to water hardness levels because it directly impacts the reliability of those units, and the repair costs are not insignificant. So long-term goal for the district to continue to improve hardness, I think, is warranted. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. I do not see any other hands up. So let's move on to 6.3. I think there's no staff presentation for 6.3. Is that correct?
That is correct. No staff presentations this evening.
6.4, general managers reports.
Just a couple of real brief reports. One is we are preparing for our public meetings related to our rate proposal. The board's aware that we have two scheduled meetings, one at the Newark Library on January 28th at 6 p.m. That'll be an in-person meeting. And one that's all virtual on Zoom. That's on the 30th at 6 p.m. We've got notices out all over the place. Partially, we've got notices in the Prop 218 notice. We have next door post, a patch post. We've got a news flash on the website banner, Tri-City Voice ad, and social media posts. So we're hoping for a good turnout, and we'll see what we get. Of course, the board's invited to participate in both of those meetings. And thus far, we've had responses from some directors indicating that you plan to attend. We certainly appreciate you letting us know if you plan to attend. Certainly for the virtual meeting, you'll have to, because we'll have to put your meeting location, and you'll have to open up your meeting location for public access if you plan to attend, if we have a quorum, and if you plan to attend the all online virtual meeting. So please let us know before the 24th if you plan to attend the Zoom version of that public meeting. So that's the first item. The second item is, it's an opportunity for me to ask for forgiveness instead of permission. I sent the board a notice a little bit earlier about the district signing on to what's called a NASCAR letter that's put out by the Association of California Water Agencies. This was a letter that many agencies have signed on to. It has to do with comments on the voluntary agreement, or really on the Bay Delta plan, and the Water Board's consideration of the voluntary agreements and the unimpaired flows alternatives. And so the district has in the past already provided separate written comments to the Water Board. We've testified before the Water Board on this topic in support of the voluntary agreements, which are now called the agreements for healthy rivers and landscapes, I think. Yeah, healthy rivers and landscapes. So, but we've commented on in support of that alternative as opposed to the unimpaired flows alternative in the past. This letter that was prepared by Aqua, this coalition letter, is consistent with the comments that we've made in the past. I did share a copy of that letter with the board, but I just wanted to, it was had to go out today, so before this board meeting. So again, it's a tell, not an ask. So I'd be happy to address any questions, or you can let me know that I shouldn't have done that, but it's too late now. So it just in general terms, the comments had to do with the current draft of the plan, and some pushback on some changes that had been proposed to the core terms of the voluntary agreement, and some provisions that would have allowed the Water Board to be sort of pick and choose the various provisions of the voluntary agreements that would be actually implemented. A lot of sort of appealing to the water board to consider a number of things, including consistency with other regulations, consistency with the state's housing goals, and lots of other topics. And I did sort of outline the nature of those topics in that letter. So any questions, I'd be happy to address them. Otherwise, that completes our general manager's reports.
Any questions for Mr. Stevenson? Seeing or hearing none, let's move on to director's comments, reports, and meeting attendance, agenda item requests. So 7.1 is report from Director Sethy on the Los Vaqueros JPA board meeting.
Okay. I have two items to report on, both quick. So I attended the LVR JPA meeting yesterday in Livermore Zone 7 Water Agency, along with Mr. Wunderlich, who is the district's alternate. And the most important thing is that we passed a resolution after some discussion to dissolve the JPA. We passed the resolution. There is a second step in the process, which is to have each participating board ratify that resolution. So I anticipate we're going to have that on the agenda next month, and so will other districts. We need 3/4 of the boards to approve. And then we will skip the February meeting because of those activities and reconvene with virtual meetings in March and April. As far as we know, yesterday was the last day that we met formally in person, so we had group photos and everything. And I want to offer a couple of points of view here. First, I'm very grateful that this board encouraged me and appointed me to be on this board for the last 3 years. It was a privilege and an honor. And as I mentioned yesterday, it was certainly a wonderful learning experience to be directly involved in a big project and to be the treasurer appointed by that 8-member board to supervise our bank account or financial activities on the finance committee and to be signing the checks on this big project. I'd never done something like that before, except for my private company. And what I did want to inform the board about was the frankness of other board members, especially the 3 South Bay contractors, because I agreed to, and then south of Delta interests about their hopefulness for a continuing project focused on the Transfer Bethany pipeline. And that we should try to regroup in some fashion, either with or without the participation of Contra Costa. And Valley Water had not only Director Varela, but his alternate, Director Santos, there, and both spoke up in favor of this approach. Kathy Narum, representing Zone 7, spoke up as well. Anthony Hansen, our chair, spoke up. Rick Ortega from the Wildlife Refuges spoke up. I did too. So hopefully something can develop out of this where we at least get the pipeline, and we have a director here who was solely interested in that pipeline without the dam rates. So it looks like we've come full circle. Am I missing anything, Mr. Wunderlich?
No, I think that covers it. You know, as you mentioned, an item will need to come to this board now. The JPA won't be meeting in February, and we'll reconvene in March.
Okay, on to second report. I gave a referral to the staff and copied the board president on this. I've been paying attention to other people's equivalent help on tap programs, especially when I was down at Aqua. And I put together a list of agencies in Northern and Southern California, most of them fairly good-sized, notable agencies that we deal with, to add a supplemental benefit to our Help on Tap program for qualified medical disabilities, which other water districts are offering. And so I gave the list that I put together to the staff to explore what the cost would be to open Help on Tap to qualified medical disabilities, especially in lieu of the fact that we have quite a bit of extra money to work with on the program. So I'm looking forward to a report back to the board, or at least the committee. And I'm asking that some real thoughtfulness be put into this and that we examine and talk to the other water districts that have implemented this program to find out the costs, barriers for bringing people on board, marketing, an additional part of low-income assistance type program like this. Some water districts even include veterans. But I looked at our 2020 census, and there's maybe close to 8,000 veterans in our community. So I'd rather us focus just on the qualified medical disabilities at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Sethy. Director Gunther, any comments?
Not this evening. I'll bring my comments about the Los Visqueros when we have our final. I would like to thank Director Sethy again. But, yeah, sad day.
I
did
sent
what we
out the
could.
press release,
I
by
saw
the
that,
way,
yeah.
to
It was
everybody.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we share that sentiment. Director Wee?
Yes, well, first of all, I'm pleased to hear that Bethany Transfer Pipeline is recognized as a potential asset. Hopefully larger than the 8-foot diameter, 300 CFS that was in the drawing. Because it could go to with 2 more feet diameter, you go to 450 CFS, which matches the capacity of the pumping stations. It offered a Delta bypass originally programmed for 2026. Think of the $21 billion for a much larger bypass that we're looking at with Delta conveyance. At least it gave us some water and a bypass for emergency needs in a reasonable time frame. And then they discover conservation easements and other things and other surprises that kept coming down the pike, which left me bewildered. I would, we have almost $100 million in our IRP draft for the LVE. Give us an opportunity to relook at that. I'd hope that we retain water, some funding, a major significant portion of that for the Bethany Transfer Pipeline. Antioch is developing a new water source that will be, which avoids the seasonal water supply that is going to be impacting Contra Costa due to sea level rise. And there is the original concept, a 1 million acre foot reservoir. The dam being built near the transfer station, and which will result in tearing down and removal of LV 1 and 2. So if we can keep that in the pipeline as well, or at least in the thought process.
Director Akbari? All right. Nothing from me either, but I'll echo the thank you to Director Sethy for representing us on the Los Vaqueros JPA. So with that, let's move on to item 8, closed session. 8.1 is pursuant to California Government Code Section 6.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, one potential case. Item 8.2 is pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, threat to public services or facilities, consultation with Director of Engineering and Technology, Information Technology Manager, Director of Operations and Maintenance, and General Counsel. With that, where are we adjourning to? Which conference
We
room?
will adjourn to the operations conference room.
Operations Conference Room. All right, it's 9:45 and the board has come back from closed session. And can I borrow your agenda? Might disappear. All right, for item 8.1 pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, one potential case. The report back is no action taken. Item 8.2 pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, threat to public service or facilities, consultation with Director of Engineering and Technology, Information Technology Manager, Director of Operation and Maintenance, and General Counsel. Report back is no action taken. With that, at 9:46, the meeting is adjourned.